We got a call coming in. Hello? Who's there? Hello.
Hi. Hi. This is username Delphi.
Delphi! Hey!
Oh, Delphi.
We know you.
Hi.
Good to hear you. I'm glad you made it. You said you weren't sure.
Yeah, it's a long story, but I'm here now.
That's rad. What can we do you for?
Well, I mentioned in the forums what my one main question is, so let's just get to it. I want to talk about character races.
All right. The race. You're playing the race card. Okay.
Yeah, I'm playing the race card.
So what's the specific question? I looked over all the forum stuff, but then there were so many of them, and I got carried away with answering them.
I can pull up her meticulously worded question here.
Right. I want to hear Delphi say it.
All right. Hold
on a second. Hold on.
Delphi, just a sec. We're going to have to ask you to call us back real quick. We accidentally muted Colin and Kyle. So just call us back, and we'll have you added in. Sorry.
Prepare ahead here.
Are we back?
You're back.
Hey.
Hey, sorry. Delphi called, and we're fixing the situation.
Oh, that question about races. She still needs to stay.
Yeah, she does still need to stay.
Yeah.
Good. That's a good question, Ryan. About the time. We got some questions specifically for you.
I do take longer than 10 minutes to prepare. I'm just occasionally I've walked in like I have no idea what's happening today, guys. So this will be fun.
So what is it? How does it work? Everybody who's watching, how does it work? You have to call in. You have to be added as a contact.
Yeah. Apparently, this Skype situation is a little bit more complicated than we thought it was. So we have to add you individually as a contact. So please extend your contact information to us, and we will approve it, and then we can add you as a call. I don't think it used to be this way. Maybe I'm wrong, but Skype just got a bit more complicated.
Damn you, Microsoft.
We need to see your passports immediately before you get into the call. We need to have a screening procedure.
You know,
yeah, you have to be a one-on-one.
The thing is that behind the scenes, it's called a passport.
Hello?
Hey. She can't hear you at all, John. She can't hear you at all. Because you're not Mike, John. We've hit a little snafu, and that is that we have to add everyone individually as like Skype contacts. Otherwise, we can't add you to the group call with Colin and Kyle. We don't know why.
I see.
So if you want, you can ask the question, and then we can dip you out, and you can add us, and then we can add you back in.
That would be fine with me. For one thing, I kind of like being able to watch the feedback, the delayed video version of it. That's kind of why it took a little while to call you guys back. I was watching you guys talk to me.
Oh, yeah. No worries.
So she wants to take her answer off air.
Okay.
So we already have.
No, we don't.
Oh.
We don't. But hey, we can. All right. Well, let her rip, Delphi.
All right. So my question was back when we were creating the Sega's doesn't have official character races. There's some vague rules set out in the Game Master's Lodestar booklet, but there's nothing really definite out there for character races. So I just kind of wanted to hear your guys' take on dealing with that when translating 4.0 characters, or even just when creating brand new characters into the game.
Basically, I just look at their stats and what they're trying to do for their characters, and then I create the races based off of that. So they're not very carbon copies of D&D. Plus, D&D's rules don't work with mine very well.
No, they don't.
You know, we had to do a lot of twisting around for like how is this spell going to work and things like that. So I look at each character. You know, if it's a toughness or a stamina or a physical stat, why is it there? You know, if it's for like VMAC, I think I made him a giant race because you have the different sizes for your races, and those alter your stats. Plug that one in, and then just started adding more based on, his upbringing and things like that. D&D does some really weird stuff with their attribute bonuses and modifiers and stuff like that. I don't really agree with. They make it like in some cases very cultural, and that implies that this elf always grew up like other elves, and any of that I would strip out, and then I would just say, okay, they're going for a muscular guy that can take a lot more punches to the stomach than somebody else. So I'm going to give him more strength. I'm going to leave his stamina alone. That those two will balance out, and then maybe give him a little bit of a toughness boost because his higher strength is already going to give him a boost of toughness.
So it wasn't like you were doing things like translating, I guess, like dwarves have a poison immunity or something like that for all their drinking, and you didn't translate that for a chair or anything like that.
No, that's just ridiculous to me. I love Scandinavian and Nordic folklore. That's where dwarves and elves come from. There is nothing in there that says that they can't. The D&D is based off Tolkien. Tolkien is based off of Nordic and Welsh and Gaelic and all these different Northern European mythologies. And dwarves are actually just short, dark elves. There's nothing about them being able to do that. So I don't really agree with. I think that translates as a higher toughness or a higher stamina versus an immunity, just a blanket immunity to poisons.
If that individual, however, trained themselves to develop an immunity to poison, that seems viable.
But specific poisons, yes. Another thing is, like, I'm very realistic when I'm dealing with my elves and orcs and stuff.
Right.
But
right.
You could develop an immunity to a specific poison, but not all poisons.
Right.
Give me some time, and I will find a way to poison a D&D dwarf. Okay, I will make some calls, and this is going to happen. They are not immune. They just can't be. So yeah, there's certain things I just look at and say, "Fuck that! I'm not doing it." It's just stupid. It's not. I'm being kind of harsh to D&D, but D&D can justify it. The creators and the people that do it. I had dinner with Arneson. I mean, he's a great guy.
Who's that?
One of the co-creators of Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. He's a great guy. He's dead now, but yeah, but and he kind of flirted with my wife. It was great. But they have justification, and I'm sure they could argue the point and maybe even win that point. But to me, it just seems silly, so it went out the window. So these races are the ones I like, the way I like them to be, and with everybody else's input.
So you were just kind of focusing on what the character was going to be when you were dealing with character races, rather than what the character comes from. Right.
I mean, how are they born in that physical aspect of it, but not where do they come from culturally or anything like that.
Right.
That is part of your character creation process. So if your elf grew up in a dwarven cave, he's gonna do things differently. Elves in my game system, I haven't officially released anything like that, but they have an ability to use natural magic, but that's inherent in them. And dwarves have an ability to use runic magic that's inherent in their physical ability. And I'm not sure how I justified that when I did it, and I'm just kind of stuck with it now. But immunity to poison, or they're just naturally smarter because they're blessed with a higher IQ. Yeah, I have to justify that physically, not just throw that out there. Because if I want to make a dwarf that grew up in a dwarven cave, he should act like a dwarf. I mean, Cher was a dwarf that was a piece of furniture. There was a lot of attributes in D&D that just don't mesh with that.
Dwarven American.
Yeah, actually, he was a completely different race. He wasn't even dwarven. He was a dwarf who used to be a chair. That was the race I called it. So
chair dwarf.
Yeah, and his natural racial ability was to turn into wooden things.
Yeah,
right. So you were using like the warden skill as his racial thing in that case?
Oh yeah.
That's actually surprising.
Why?
Oh, just I hadn't really expected that to be something that was part of his racial thing as opposed to something that you put into his that he spent skills on.
Well, that would imply that Chair really thought about learning skills. And that was another problem I had with coming up with like Chair's sort of thing. And Saga's not having any classes. They have, you have archetypes, but I don't see Chair studying real hard to learn how to use magic. Like,
no,
he just kind of learned, because he came from a chair. He had already had this magical ability, and this not getting into Chair's history too much, but somebody contributed to him learning it and mastering that natural ability based on a warden's knowledge and experience of it.
Yeah,
that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was more satisfying than I thought it would be. Oh no, a D&D fan. Here we go.
Delphi, thanks so much for the question. We're going to go on to the next caller, I believe, or soon. Anyway, we're trying to get Colin and Kyle back on the line.